Oh, what's going on with my hair? Every time I come on to do a video, my hair's doing something crazy, but it doesn't matter. So I've come on to do a video to introduce you to the AEIOU deck that I made and the story behind it, because I think it's really important to share a little bit of backstory about the how it came to be and how you can use it. So I'm going to break it down into two videos. So this is going to be like story time, and the other video is going to be a little bit more into how to actually use it. And yeah, so let me just have a sip of tea. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Gemma Gaines. I am an international psychic reader. I'm also an artist, an activist, and a mummy, and lots of other things, lots of other characters that I play in this realm. And one of my favourite things to do is to read energy. And I could do this before I was introduced to tarot, and I would do a lot of healing and talking therapy with people. I was introduced to tarot, and I can say with all honesty that the first time that I was introduced to tarot, I thought it was a pile of shit. I really did. I didn't get into it at all. I thought it was the word that comes to my mind is primitive, and I didn't think that it could articulate all the energy that I just was very judgy. I was very judgy until I actually invested in my first deck, which was this one, which is the ethereal tarot. And the reason why I chose it is because the imagery actually reminded me of my mum, because she used to show me lots of like Victorian books that had Art Nouveau pictures in, and my mum is not in this realm anymore, so it was the attachment to her, and she helps me read, and she's been helping me read energy for a very long time, and it was the connection with her that actually gave me the in regards to tarot. And as soon as I got my hands on this deck, it was just insane, the connection and the energy that I could read, and the readings that I did escalated to just so quickly. So it's a top tip for anyone who wants to start reading tarot. Actually get a deck that you feel very joined to, because otherwise you're just reading. It does take a little bit longer to learn how to read. If you're into the energy and you're feeling the images that you're using, it does help massively. So top tip, pick your own deck, don't let someone get it for you. So when I was doing my readings for people, I quickly realised that I could actually read for health diagnosis work, and a lot of different things were coming through, not just for the person that I was reading for, but also for ancestors and, you know, different people in their family, and the emotional connection to their ailments, all this kind of stuff. It was crazy. And I took on a lot of case studies and tried to work with people one-on-one, most of the time for free, to be able to upskill myself and to practice what was coming through so that I could get a lot more proficient. And I was seeing the same repetitive energetic patterns in people, the same things that were coming through over and over again. And I was trying to work out a way that I could, what's the word I'm looking for? Give people their own authority to be able to unlock these patterns themselves. Because to have a reading, it just didn't, for me, in my personal belief system, a reading, an energetic reading with another human being is like a springboard, a jumping off point, it's a big deal, I think. like generally I wouldn't suggest that you have loads of different readings from people, and if you do, then you're not getting what you want. Like, a reading should give you what you need to be able to move on with the next bit of your life, and help you with your health and help you feel like you're transitioning into a different timeline. And you want something that is going to be a big lift and to clarify and validate so much of your own thinking. But I will go into the depths of what a reading should be maybe in another reading. Should we do that today? We'll do that today. So that was an intention that I had in my mind. And then I personally was going through a really rough time. My son was in child courts, and the stress that I was under was just phenomenal. Really affected my health, and I basically stopped sleeping for about 7 months. And if I was sleeping, it would be very broken up, and I would never get to a deep sleep, to the point where I actually started collapsing when I was awake, because obviously I wasn't getting the repair time that my body needed, and I was getting so tired that I would actually collapse, and it was happening quite a lot. And I was praying more than ever. I have a very strong belief system in God and the universe and source, and put whatever your belief system is there. And I was praying all the time, God, please, help me heal, help me get some sleep, help me get some rest. And one time I actually collapsed I'd sort of collapsed down the stairs, and then finally collapsed in a heap in my front room. And I think I knocked myself out. I'm not entirely sure. But as I was coming back round, I saw this image, which was the first card that came through. And when you purchase the deck, you can understand why this was the first card that came through. This is what God gave me. And I was told to paint. And I did this one the first night. When I woke up, I got all my paints out. And then the next one I did was this one. And at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing. They didn't have colours on. It was just the images that I was told to put down on paper. And I actually have this tattooed on my leg, on the front of my leg, which you might see in my socials and things like that. But I actually have this on my leg. And it went on. So I drew the front cover. And this is how real the deck is. So you see this darker patch here. This was a correction that I had to make because I was so tired whilst doing these that I actually made a mistake. So I did the A and the I think, or the A and the E the wrong way around. The A and the E I did the wrong way around. And I left it in because I wanted to show the transition. I've also left all the blemishes on the paper, and I mean, these are hand painted. You can see that, they're all drawn, they're all done in pencil, and then they're hand painted in watercolors. So you can see that I've actually had to doctor this and put a, I wanted from all my artwork, whether you've had an item of clothing from me, or a painting, or anything, I always leave little hallmarks and what's the word I'm looking for? Like mistakes, because I want you to know that it's been made by a human being and not a machine. So I don't mind leaving the bloopers in, let's say, and I don't edit my footage and things like that, because I want you to see that I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I'm not, perfect. It's all part of the process in my work of being relatable and accountable, responsible, and I'm no different to anybody else. That's one thing that I really like to say about me and my work is I make mistakes and I don't get it right every time. My belief systems change, and it was such a big part of putting this deck together. So that was the cover, and then I started getting animals, more animals. So these are just a few of the different animals that are in there. And then I realised what was actually coming through to me, and that it was going to be a deck. I was like, all right, okay, because I didn't get that at the beginning. But the main thing that happened from making the cards every single evening, so I would get my paints out and I would do them every evening, was that I was getting sleep. It actually made me relaxed enough and put me into flow state so that I could actually sleep. And it happened over about a 2-month period, but I actually managed to get myself relaxed whilst painting and in flow state enough for me to sleep, and it actually did heal me. So God did a fantastic job of giving me this tool and the cards to do, because in the process of creating my art, I actually healed myself, which I think is just amazing, and it's wonderful to share that with you. So I started getting the chakra cards. So the different images that were coming through were all relating to the different chakras of the body, so that I could draw cards and help people understand where their emotions and where the energy was being trapped and what would cause the ailment and all this, you know, all this kind of thing. So every chakra had its own element and its own pictures. So they're all hand drawn, they're all painted. It took me a very, very long time. And there's some alchemy in there as well. So if you're into alchemy, that's in there on the solar plexus. And I'll go through all of this in more detail. But yes, so and there's the planet cards that came through. That was right at the end. I had no idea that that was going to be part of it, but it all came together right at the end. And I went on tour and used these in their raw form. So I would take them in their paper form, and I used them over a 2-year period to be able to help me understand the energy that was coming through them. And they actually read 100% resonation rate, which was just phenomenal on, you know, taking them out into the community. Obviously I was a little bit worried and a little bit, oh, I don't know whether they're going to work. And they passed with flying colours, and I just had to get round my fear of putting them out into the universe. And over a space of 2 years, I basically used them on every single reading and anyone that came anywhere near me to be able to see whether they worked or not. And then I finally turned them into the deck that you see here. So you get 2 parts of the deck, and I'll talk about this more in the other video, but yeah, that's how it came to be. So in healing myself, I have managed to create a tool to be able to help heal other people, which I think is pretty bloody amazing. And I use them on my readings, and I use them in person. I use them for my body work as well, and they're just fab. They're really great, and I'm really proud of them. And I don't think that they're actually mine. I think that I was just the vessel to deliver this beautiful message into our realm, and my truest intention and hope is that they help to heal you in the same way that they healed me. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to the story of how the AEIOU Oracle came to be.